Namaste. Dear children, this is my next video on the chapter Globalization. I have already completed this chapter in my previous videos. And if you have watched those videos carefully, you will be able to answer in-text questions and exercise questions which we are discussing today. So let's start our in-text question first. First question, which is based on the article given in your NCERT book on Ford Motors. After reading the passage, would you say Ford Motors is a MNC? Why? Yes, Ford Motor is a MNC. As we have read in our answer, what is MNC? MNC is a company which owns and controls productions in more than one nation. So here Ford Motors is rightly called a MNC because it has production units spread over 26 countries. So it is a MNC. What is foreign investment? How much did Ford Motors invest in India? Foreign investment is the investment made by MNCs for buying assets like buildings, machines, land, property, etc. And the money invested by Ford Motors is 1700 crores in its Chennai plant. By setting up their production plants in India, MNCs such as Ford Motors tap the advantage not only of the large markets that countries such as India provide, but also the lower costs of production. Explain. Yes, the companies like Ford Motors or any other MNC, why do they come to India? One main reason is they get large market for their produce, for their products. So it is very correctly said that they come to India not only for big market but also for keeping their cost of production low, which they keep low by getting cheap labor and cheap other resources. Why do you think the company wants to develop India as a base for manufacturing car components? For its global operations, discuss the following factors. Cost of labor and other resources in India? Yes, the cost of labor is cheapest in India, and other resources also they are getting at very less rate. So that is why they have decided that they will make their Chennai plant as a base plant for supplying components to other plants across the world. The presence of several local manufacturers who supply auto parts to Ford Motors. India has many small manufacturing units which are supplying these components at a very reasonable rate to this big industry, Ford industry. So their cost of production is very less in India. That is why they have decided to make it as a base plant. In what ways will the production of cars by Ford Motors in India lead to interlinking of production? Yes, the production by Ford Motors has interlinked the production units. The designing parts of the cars of the Ford Motors is coming from USA. The manufacturing is being done in India, and they are supplying these cars not only for Indian roads but also for other countries like South Africa, Mexico, Brazil and United States. Like this, they are interlinking the production. In what ways is a MNC different from other companies? MNC is a multinational corporation. It owns its production units in more than one nation. For example, Ford Motors. It has production units in 26 countries. Other companies, they may have production units within the country. They are not as rich as MNCs. The quality of goods of the other companies is not as good as produced by MNCs. MNCs have latest technology, MNCs have foreign investment. Other companies do not have such huge investment or latest technology. Nearly all major multinationals are American, Japanese or European. such as Nike, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Honda, Nokia, etc. Can you guess why? Why all these companies are either American or Japanese or European? Because they are developed countries. They have latest technology. They are rich countries. They can invest money on technology, and that is why the majority of MNCs are European or American or Japanese. What was the main channel connecting countries in the past? How is it different now? In the past, the countries were connected by trade. Trade was the only medium by which countries were connected, and what things we are importing and exporting? Only the three things. Number one, raw material, two, finished goods, and number three, food stuff. Today it is different. Now more and more countries are connected by raw material, finished goods, investment, technology, and people are moving among different countries. So today the globalization is different from the globalization which we have seen in the past. Distinguish between foreign trade and foreign investment. Very simple. Foreign trade is the trade between or among different countries. When we do trade with different countries, this is called foreign trade. And foreign investment, as we have discussed earlier also, the investment made by a MNC for buying assets like buildings, land, machines, properties, etc. is called foreign investment. Foreign investment is done by a MNC. In recent years, China has been importing steel from India. Explain how the import of steel by China will affect steel companies in China. Steel companies in China. अब बेटा imagine, ये questions होते हैं imagination based. अब China इंडिया से स्टील इंपोर्ट कर रहा है, ठीक है. अब जब वो इंडिया से स्टील इंपोर्ट कर रहा है तो हाउ इट विल अफेक्ट स्टील कंपनीज इन चाइना. जो चाइना में स्टील कंपनीज हैं, दे हैव टू compete with the steel which is imported from India. If they will compete with the steel, then they will prosper. Otherwise, they have to perish. They will face a loss because the steel from India is of good quality and it is of cheaper rate. So the steel companies in China will face a loss. Steel companies in India will prosper as their steel is accepted in the Chinese markets. Industries buying steel for production of other industrial goods in China. चाइना में जो दूसरी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं जो इंडिया के स्टील को यूज कर रही हैं, दे विल ऑल्सो बी बेनिफिटेड एज दे आर गेटिंग गुड क्वालिटी ऑफ स्टील एट लोअर प्राइस, सो दे कैन कीप देयर कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन लो and they will also be benefited. What is the role of MNCs in the globalization process? We have read this line in one of the answer that MNCs play a major role in the globalization process. Now the same is the question, how? MNCs are the companies which owns their production units in more than one nation. By doing this, they are increasing foreign investment in other countries and thus they help in integration of countries. Number two, when they enter into a country, they work in partnership with small industries of those countries and thus making them profitable and increasing integration among the countries. MNCs have enormous wealth. So when they enter into a country, they invest large sum of money in the host country and thus help in integration of countries. MNCs have latest technology which stimulates the process of globalization and integration of countries. MNCs increase choice of goods in the markets, thus helping the consumers all over the country to get a wide range of choice of goods at lower costs. It is due to MNCs only that the choice of goods in the market rises. The people of the country now they can avail improved quality of goods at lower price. So like this, it helps in integration or interconnection of countries. What are the various ways in which countries can be linked? The various ways by which countries can be linked are: number one, foreign trade. Whenever the companies enter into a country, or MNCs enter into a country, they work in partnership, or they buy up the local company, or they place orders to distant producers. So by all these three methods, the countries are getting interlinked. Choose the correct option. Globalization by connecting countries shall result in lesser competition among producers, greater competition among producers, no change in competition among producers. The option is second, greater competition among producers. What do you understand by liberalization of foreign trade? Liberalization of foreign trade means removing all the trade barriers or restrictions set by the government. What are the barriers on foreign trade? Number one, tax on imports. And number two, fixation of quotas. Number three, giving shelter to their native industries. The government imposes much lesser restriction than before. So now the government policies are very liberal. Next question is, tax on imports is one type of trade barrier. The government could place a limit on the number of goods that can be imported. This is known as quotas. Can you explain, using the example of Chinese toys, how quotas can be used as trade barriers? Do you think this should be used? Discuss. Yes, in this question we have seen that there are two types of barriers. One, tax on imports. Number two, fixation of quotas. So let's take this question with the help of the example which is asked: Indian markets and Chinese toys. Earlier, when Chinese toys were imported, we had used trade barriers. हमने उनके कोटा को फिक्स किया, only 50 toys will enter India. Secondly, we have imposed tax on the imports. टैक्स भी लगा दिया. तो जब वो इंडियन मार्केट में आए toys, those toys were expensive. For example, the toy is of 10 rupees, we have imposed 20 rupees tax on the toy. So when they are sold in the Indian markets, their cost was 30 rupees. 10, their original price, 20, the tax. 30 rupees. उस समय इंडियन मार्केट में टॉयज वर ऑफ 20-25 रुपीज. तो इस कंडीशन में इंडियन टॉय मेकर्स prosper because their toys were cheaper than Chinese toys, and Chinese toy makers, they suffered a loss. Conditions reverse हुई 91 के बाद. अब conditions क्या हुई? Removal of trade barriers, no fixation of quota, no trade barriers, no tax on imports. Chinese toys आए in big amount because there was no fixation of quota, there was no tax on imports, they were sold in the price which they came in India, 10 rupees. 10 रुपए में जब टॉयज लोगों को मिलने लगे, then Indian toys which were sold in 20-25 rupees were not accepted by the consumers. अब सारे मार्केट्स में चाइनीज टॉयज आ गए. सो इसमें किसको बेनिफिट हुआ? द चाइनीज टॉय मेकर्स, दे वर फ्लरिश्ड, एंड इंडियन टॉय मेकर्स, दे फेस्ड अ लॉस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, हाउ द कॉम्पिटिशन benefited people in India? Competition between the products. हमको तो बेनिफिट हुआ. हम कौन है? Consumers. The people of India, they were benefited by the competition among the companies because now they have improved quality of goods. They have wide range of choice of goods, and moreover at lower cost. Should more Indian companies emerge as MNCs? How would it benefit the people in the country? If more Indian companies will become MNCs, they will bring more foreign exchange for the country. And they will bring more employment opportunities for the people. So it will be beneficial if more and more Indian companies will become MNCs. Why do government try to attract more foreign investment? More foreign investment directly means more employment opportunities in the country, more economic development of the countries. We will have more multinational companies, we will get more employment for our youth, improved quality of goods, wide range of choice of goods. Consumers will be benefited, educated and skilled people will be benefited, they will have more employment opportunities, we will get improved quality of goods with the help of latest technology. So it will be beneficial in all spheres. In chapter 1, we saw what may be development for one may be destructive for others. The seeing of SEZs has been opposed by some people in India. Find out who are these people and why are they opposing it. Remember chapter 1 that sometimes developmental goals are conflicting. उसी तरीके से SEZs, special economic zones, they are beneficial for some and destructive for others. Who are these group of people who are opposing against SEZs? These are small producers, small manufacturers. They are opposing because they cannot compete with these large producers, these MNCs, due to lack of investment and lack of technology. Their products are not of that quality which can compete the goods produced by these MNCs. So it is harmful for small producers. Next question is, in what ways has competition affected workers, Indian exporters and foreign MNCs in the garment industry? 3 लोगों पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ता है फॉरेन कंपटीशन का? नंबर 1, वर्कर्स are hard hit. Garment factories especially, these are small producing units which faced a great competition with the imported garments. Many of the small producers, they shut down, many workers became jobless. Their jobs have become flexible. They are only called when there is more pressure of work. Otherwise, they are not called. Their job is no longer secure. They have very less wages. They are forced to make overtime. So workers' condition is not good in a garment factory. Indian exporters are also not very much benefited because they are also not able to compete with the MNCs as their goods are made of latest technology, their improved goods. Indian exporters were also not able to compete with MNCs. Foreign MNCs, they were benefited. Foreign MNCs, with their huge investment and with their latest technology, they were able to compete in the Indian market. They were giving wide varieties of goods at lower cost. And in this process, it was 50 to 60% cost saving for them. What can be done by each of the following so that workers can get a fair share of benefits brought by globalization? Government policies should not protect only rich and powerful, but all the people of the country. Government must see that the labor laws are properly implemented and workers should get their rights. Employers at the exporting factories. The employers, one who employs the people, they should also give benefits to its employees. They should also see that the benefits of globalization should be shared among the workers also. So वो भी कुछ ऐसे कर सकते हैं अपने अपनी कंपनीज में जो बेनिफिट उनके पास आता है, many times benefit, it should be shared among its workers. MNCs, they can make some rules and regulations where the benefits of globalization should be shared better by its workers. MNCs can give benefits to its workers. उनको बीच बीच में कुछ incentives, perks MNCs को देते रहना चाहिए जिससे कि जो benefit है, large portion they will keep, but some portion it must be distributed among its workers. Workers can also ask for some benefits from the MNCs. They should demand for some incentives, some perks from these big MNCs. They can ask for better working conditions, not very long hours of working. When they work more, they can ask for overtime. So they will also get the benefits of globalization. So beta, this was all about in-text questions. Let us discuss now exercise questions. Question number 1. What do you understand by globalization? Explain in your own words. Globalization is rapid interconnection and integration of countries. Now more and more goods, services, people, investment and technology is moving among different countries. Goods are not only sold globally, goods are produced globally, and MNCs are playing a major role in the process of globalization. So these 4 points you have to write in what is globalization. If it is of 1 mark, what is globalization? Answer will be rapid integration and interconnection of countries. What was the reason for putting barriers to foreign trade and investment by the Indian government? Why did it wish to remove these barriers? The Indian government has put barriers to the foreign trade and investment initially to protect domestic workers from foreign competition because they were not strong enough to compete in the international market. To give protection, industries in till 1980s, 90s were given protection because they were just coming up and they were not strong enough to compete with these big companies. But after 1991, it was thought that now the time has come that Indian industries, now they have become quite strong enough to compete in the international market. And number 2, now this competition will help them to improve the quality of their produce. So it was decided to remove or to reduce restrictions after 1991. Question number 3, how would flexibility in labor laws help companies? Now the employer can employ the people only when there is more pressure of work. He was not supposed to employ them for entire year. He will not give them other incentives which a permanent employees get. By doing this, they have reduced the cost of production and it means more profit for the MNCs. What are the various ways in which MNC set up controls production in other countries? MNC is a company which owns and controls production in more than one country. So when a MNC enter into a country, there are 3 methods. Number 1, it makes a partnership with the local companies and then expand production. Local companies also are benefited by this partnership. Local companies get foreign investment and local companies get latest technology to increase their production. So they are also happy in this partnership. The second method by which the MNC enter into a country is buying up local company and then expand production. Number 3, by placing orders to distant producers, especially in sports items, garments and footwears. These small producers produce these things and again these things are sent back to MNCs. Here MNCs brand these goods made in America and then they are sold in the various countries. So these are the 3 methods by which MNCs sets up and controls production in different countries. Why do developed countries want developing countries to liberalize their trade and investment? What do you think should the developing countries demand in return? Developed countries want that developing countries should liberalize their foreign trade and investment so that it becomes easy and profitable for the MNCs to set up their industries in these developing countries. If these developing countries will remove their trade barriers in foreign trade and investment, it will become very profitable for these big MNCs to set up their industries in these countries and earn huge profits. What should developing countries demand? Developing countries should demand that they should also get the benefits of globalization. Like developing countries have removed trade barriers, they have reduced giving shelter to their industries as asked by the WTO. Developing countries should ask developed countries that they should also stop giving shelter to their native industries. They should also remove trade barriers so that there should be free flow of trade, and trade should become very liberal. Okay, so whatever they are asking, they means developed countries are asking the same they should do also themselves. The impact of globalization has not been uniform. Explain this statement. Yes, the impact of globalization is not uniform. As we have discussed, it has both negative and positive impact. First, positive on consumers, positive on large producers. Consumers, first of all, will take positive impact on consumers. Consumers have wide range of choice of goods, number one. Consumers have improved quality of goods, number two. Consumers are getting these goods at lower price and they have higher standards of living than before. Large producers, they are able to compete in the international market. They are able to improve the quality of their produce. They themselves have emerged as MNCs. People with good education and skill, they were also benefited. They are able to get good job opportunities, particularly in the IT sector. Okay. Now negative, small producers, those who were not able to compete in the market, they were shut down. They were very much hard hit by this competition. The workers working in these factories, they were also became jobless. Those who had job, it became very flexible. Their job was no longer regular. It was no longer secure. They had less wages. They were forced to work overtime. So workers' condition was also not so good. This shows that the impact of globalization has not been uniform. Next question, how has liberalization of trade and investment policies helped the globalization process? Liberalization means removal of barriers or restrictions set by the government. Indian government has removed almost all the restrictions on imports and exports. Now it has become easy for the businessmen to export or import whatever they wish for. Okay, now the trade has become more liberal. Liberalization means investment can be done in any country wherever it is profitable for them. Due to liberalization, improved technology has reached India. With the help of latest technology, Indian manufacturers are able to improve the quality of their goods and compete in the international market. Now the Indian industries, due to liberalization, are free to import or export of goods of their choice. How does foreign trade had led to integration of markets across countries? Very important question. Foreign trade has given the opportunities for the producers to reach beyond their domestic market. Now they are free to sell their goods not only in their own domestic market, but they can compete in the international market. There is wide range of choice of goods in the market. Now the price of similar goods in two markets tends to become equal. The producers sitting in different countries, they are competing against each other, though they are miles apart. So these 5 points you have to write in this answer, how foreign trade helps in integration of markets. Last question, globalization will continue in the future. Can you imagine what would be the world like 20 years from now? Give reasons. Globalization is a reality now. It will continue in future also. But we must ensure that this globalization is a fair globalization where it would create equal opportunities for all and its benefits are shared better. If globalization is fair globalization, it will definitely help all the countries to increase their economic growth rate. It will help in healthy competition among producers, improved efficiency of production, increased output, income and employment, better living standards and more use of ICT. ICT अभी भी बहुत improved है, but in future we will see improved ICT also. ठीक है, further improved ICT. Okay, so our exercise questions are completed, and here I will also finish my lecture. So in my next video we will take previous year questions. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.